Hey everyone, today's question comes from Miranda. She is currently in T2 Endurance Facebook group, and she has purchased our 16-week training plan for Ironman Coeur d'Alene 70.3, and she's currently 8 weeks out. Her question has to do with nutrition. It's a pretty common question, so I'm glad she asked, and I'm glad I get to answer it. So, her specific question, I'm going to read it. I have a question about nutrition and weight. Usually, I know when I'm about to start training, so I will drop some weight before starting my training plan. I'm 2 months out from Coeur d'Alene, and I'm about 10 pounds heavier than I usually am this late into training. Would it be beneficial or not to drop these 10 pounds now late in the training game? Or do I continue my current eating and training at my current weight? I'm not used to watching calories this close to an actual race. Again, thanks for asking the question, Miranda. First, I want to compliment you on trying to lose weight if you need to before the start of the season, because it is a little bit more difficult when you're into training to lose weight for some people. Some people who aren't used to training, as soon as they start training, a couple months into it, they start to drop pounds because they just had more weight to lose. Now, when it comes to weight loss in general, there's a few things that you want to consider when you lose weight. Number one, losing body fat and not lean muscle. So when it's important in my mind to take measurements, whether you want to take like a body composition with a skin fold or hydrostatic weighing or some other way to measure body fat. Maybe you just want to take circumference measurements. I think it's really important to know if the weight you're losing is fat or muscle. Number two, components that affect whether or not you're going to lose weight regarding nutrition have to do with portion size, calories in, calories out. You want to expend more calories than you intake for the most part. The timing of your meals and training, how nutrition affects your training and performance. Really, a lot of that part is determined by making sure you're intaking food calories immediately after your training, so you're more likely to store those calories, food substrates in your muscles, and less likely to store that as body fat. So you want to really look at those those four variables: body composition, fat to muscle weight, portion control, calories in, calories out, and the timing of your meals. Also, what you're eating is important. If you're eating more higher sugary, less nutrient dense foods, or are you eating more plant-based, lean proteins, healthy fats for food consumption? So, looking at the big plan, my questions to you would be: is how you've lost weight in the past. Since you commented that you normally don't count calories at this point, 8 weeks out into your peak race, maybe you've counted calories or watched calories in the past. I don't like to watch calories. I'd rather watch portions, and I'd rather watch what types of foods I'm eating. Usually when you're eating a little bit cleaner, more fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, and lean proteins, you're less likely to have to actually count the calories. But that's just from my experience. People are different. If you haven't talked to a registered dietitian, that's another route you might want to go. They can really help fine tune your nutrition plan for weight loss as well as performance. And if you don't want to talk to anyone else, it's important also, I should mention, to keep in a food log. Sometimes you think you're eating a certain amount, or you think you're eating certain foods, and until you log it, maybe you already are, you don't necessarily know. So logging your food intake, I like to log the time of day, what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, and then go from there when it comes to weight loss. So to answer your question, should you worry about it? No. At this point in the game, you want to be focused on training and performance, and I know part of that is weight loss, but I think it's a little extreme to try to lose 10 pounds in the next 8 weeks and also fuel your body to train and perform. I'm more of a proponent of just let it happen. I actually personally always lose the majority, the last few pounds. It's not 10 pounds, but I usually lose the last 3 pounds, 5 pounds, get to my race weight that's healthy for me in the build phase, 8 weeks out, because that's the time that my volume and intensity are peaking. So between the volume and the intensity, that helps my body lose the extra weight that I want to lose without even trying. Meaning I'm not like super focused on it. I'm just eating and training like I normally would, and the weight starts to melt off my body. So that's the same thing might happen to you. I would just focus on making sure you're fueling properly for recovery after your training, and also cutting out the simple carbohydrates, those sugary foods, non-nutrient dense foods, if you're eating them already. I'd have more of a fine-tuned answer if I actually had your food log and I would be able to kind of see what you're doing. But I think it's really important when you approach that build phase is to eat to train versus train to eat. I know I've talked about this on another podcast and another Ask Coach Wendy question, probably last year or the previous year, about signing up for a marathon with the goal of losing weight, signing up for a certain distance triathlon or triathlon event in order to lose weight. I don't think that should be the reason that people pursue the sport of triathlon or marathon running. I think there's so much more to training for mental and physical well-being. And if you're someone who does have weight to lose, that's kind of a bonus. But there's more to being healthy than what your body weighs. So I think that's important to think about as you go into the next 8 weeks of your training and into a lifestyle of healthy eating, training, performance into the future. One other thing I wanted to note, I should have noted this in the beginning, is you want to ask yourself, when you started your training plan, the 16-week plan, were you heavier than you were in the past? I mean, maybe 2 years ago when you were training, you were, let's just say 150 pounds. You started training and you got down to 140. That's great. Maybe this time you started your training at 160 pounds, you lost 10, now you're at 150, and that's pretty much the same. Each year you lost 10 pounds, but you just started at a different weight when you started to. So take that into consideration. Hopefully that helps your mental well-being as well. Again, thanks for asking the question. If anyone else out there who's listening has a question, you can leave me a voicemail at speakpipe.com/endurance hour. You can join the T2 Endurance Hour Facebook group and leave a question. You can email me a question or just comment below. Make it a great day.